Hi class, today I'm going to go over some of the material for the PowerPoint voiceover presentation project. Okay, just to go over the instructions briefly, you're going to create a PowerPoint voiceover presentation that is 10 slides. Adding your introductory slide and adding your reference page makes it a total of 12 slides. And you can pick whatever topic you'd like on nursing informatics, instructional technology, or health informatics. So when you open up PowerPoint, you see that there are many different types of templates you can use. You're to start with a blank template. And when you open the template, it gives you an introductory slide. In case you're not familiar with PowerPoint, I'm going to just show you some quick and easy ways to create the PowerPoint. Typically what I do when I'm creating a PowerPoint is I lay out the foundation. When you open the PowerPoint, as I said, you usually get an introduction slide. This is where you put the title of your presentation, and down here in the alternate box is where you put your credentials and your name, etc. I always decide at this point how I want to make this blank piece of paper become much more alive by choosing a design. So just like Word, PowerPoint has a ribbon that runs across the top of the page. Your home page is where you can do many of the basic functions that you do in Word, but as I said, I want to change this blank piece of paper into a design. So what you do is you go to Design, and many templates come up. You can expound upon the templates by going out to the internet and adding more, or by picking one that's already here. So you pick one that you like. You can alter the colors by clicking on the color font. So I can change this to a different color font by just clicking here. So you change some of the colors. So play around with this. The reason why I like to do this initially is because when you change the styles of where the picture goes, you see how it changes where you might put your wording, and it does throw off your wording, and then you have to go back in because you changed the style and make sure that your wording fits in all the appropriate boxes in the appropriate fashion. So I always kind of do this first. Okay, so if I decide to use this template, the next step that I do is I want to add the number of slides that I need, because I'm planning out my presentation and I want to develop the shell. So what I do here is I go to the top where it says Insert, and you see onto the side over here it says New Slide. And there are many different types of slides that you can use if you want to separate out some of your components, but the typical one is this one here, the title and content. So I click on that and it appears. But I'm going to show you an easier way to do that. By right-clicking on your mouse, it opens up a dialog box, and I can add a new slide, I can duplicate the slide that I have, or I can delete a slide. And typically I just add new slides until I get to the number that I want. Now, if for some reason I decide that this slide that I'm on is not appropriate for the content I want to put on here, I right-click again, and I can look at Layout, and additional slides come up with options, and I can just select that and it changes the layout of the slide. I also like to number my slides, so if you look up at the ribbon under Insert, this is the tab that we're in. We're in the Insert tab, and if you click on slide number, a box pops up, and if you just click slide number and apply to all, you will see that all of the slides now have numbers on them. Okay, one of the requirements of your project is to have different fonts and sizes on each of the 10 slides. So each slide should be different. And that is to familiarize you with all the different options that you have in PowerPoint. So very much like Word, if you go to your Home tab and you see that once you highlight the box that you want to type in, you see that all of this becomes available. And you pick a font that you want to use. My favorite font is Times New Roman because that's what APA likes, and therefore that is what I use. Over here is the size. Now for this beginning one, this will be the first slide in your presentation. And so for the next slide in your presentation, in order to change the font, you would do the same thing. You would come up to Times New Roman, you would pick something that you want, and you would change the slides. And you would do that for the entire presentation. So each slide must be different. The next requirement is that you have bullets. Now keep in mind, when you are doing a presentation, your content within the body of the slide should be talking points. They should not be word for word for you to read off the slide when you are giving a live presentation. And because this is going to be a voiceover presentation, the rule still holds fast, that each bullet is a talking point. It should not be a paragraph on what the content is. So my first sentence should be a bullet. And as you can see, I made a typo, so I'll just fix that. And I have a bullet here. If I click down, the second bullet comes up. If you go up here, again, we're still in the Home tab, you can change your bullets. You can make them look different. You can add different types, check marks, but these are all bullets that you can apply. And remember, each slide you're supposed to be using all of the components of PowerPoint so that you are aware that there are different options for you for the future. I do want to express that when giving a presentation, especially a lot of your professors will ask you to do so in your class, especially a face-to-face class, these should be bullet points that keep you focused, that keep you on point, and move you through the presentation within the time period allotted. Again, because I'm teaching you how to do a voice-over PowerPoint, you still have to use the same principles. If some reason you had to provide a presentation and there was no audio section for an online class, you would have to change that approach in order to show the professor and your fellow classmates more about the information, because they would be reading through the slide presentation. It's always important to include your reference citation on each slide, which validates your information. And that doesn't mean you put the whole APA appropriate citation. You can do very much like you would do within a paper. The body of the paper is put an abbreviated version of your in-text citation on your slide. And what that does is tell the audience that your work has been researched and you're not just pulling it from unreliable sources. And then, of course, you would have a reference page that would have the whole entire reference at the end. Okay, moving down through the instructions, your first slide, which is your introductory slide, should be a voiceover about who you are with your credentials and what you will be speaking about. And then for the body of the slides, which are the 10 middle slides, not the introduction and not the reference page, you're supposed to have some type of background music, and that would be a sound. You would get that from your computer. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute, and also a sound clip. Okay, so now I want to actually do my animation. So just imagine that I have all of my talking points, all of my pictures are in place on my PowerPoint slides. And now I want to go back and talk to them. The great part about PowerPoint is the fact that if I talk on one particular slide and I go back and listen and I don't like what I said on one slide, I want to fix something, I don't have to erase the whole entire presentation, because PowerPoint allows you to get that voice clip one slide at a time, so I can change one voice clip on a slide, which is very good when you listen to yourself and you critique yourself and you don't like how you sound, you want to go back and change it. So in order to do a voiceover, you have to go up to your ribbon again, which is right here, and under Insert, you will find that we've used some of these options already. For example, we've used the slide number. Well, if you come down a little bit further, you'll see where there is audio, and if you click on the box, you can either capture audio from your PC. So for example, where you have to do your background music, this is where you would get it from, or you record, and this is you recording your sound. So I'm going to label my PowerPoint whatever presentation, so that if I have to look for this, I know where to find it. I click on it, I start to record. The PowerPoint is recording what I have to say. I'm done saying what I want to say. I hit OK, and if you notice, this little item comes up which lets you know that there's audio on the slide. Now, it doesn't look very good right there in the front of your slide, so you can move it. You can move it off to the side. You can make it smaller, but so it's not so apparent when the viewer is reading your slide. So there's many different places to put it. All you have to do is highlight it and drag it wherever you want to go. Whenever you see this box, you can make it, you highlight it, and you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. And again, see this little circle here? That means you can turn, I'm sorry, you have to catch it. You have to turn, you can turn it if you want it to go a different way as well. So one of the requirements of your slide is to have background music throughout. So we're going to move to the next slide, because the background music should not be on your introduction slide. It's supposed to be on the 10 interior slides. And again, you go back to your Insert tab, you come over to Video, Audio, I'm sorry, and you click on Audio on My PC. And what you have to do is you have to have some music on your PC. And what I did was go out to the internet, I Googled background music, I found one I liked, and if I click it, I hit Insert, and now that is on all of my slides. And I have to make sure it's on all of my slides, because right now it's just on the one. So you could tell it to put it on all of the slides, and you want it to say that you want it to play in the background, and you're going to have to listen to it, and you want it to play looping until it stops, loop until stopped, play across the slide. So it gives you options here once you insert everything. Okay, for the part of your presentation when you have to do a sound clip, such as applause or drum roll, you want to come up here to transition, and if you come across, you'll see where it says sound, it says no sound, and then if you click on that, there's many different sounds that you can get, such as drum roll.
I'm going to tell me what you want me to throw in the wash.
Okay, from some of your Word assignments, you've learned how to do screenshots and pointers from your other assignment on workflow, and you would use the same tabs for that in a PowerPoint. The last thing I'm going to show you is your transition, the automatic timing, where you can have entrance and exit effects. And to do that, you need to go to your animation tab, which allows you to insert an item and have it fly in. For example, if I was to put in a word here and I wanted it to pop up, I would highlight what I want and pick one of these different things. You can have it bound.